and welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steve Van Einstein. Thank you all for joining me again for tonight's reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. And I do want to apologize. I'm not sure what happened, but I recorded last night's episode and went and posted it, and I came back today and it didn't post. It was sitting right there, and I'm not sure what happened. So I'd like to just fully apologize for that. I'm sorry that I was a day late on it. But it was recorded yesterday, and it was recorded on time. Uh, so yeah, I apologize for that. Um, Not sure what happened there. Technical malfunction, I guess. But anyway, so we're gonna continue to follow up, and I'll make sure this one posts today, September 10th, and this will be the first time that I read it or I hear it right here on this podcast with you. Also, you'll hear my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. Yesterday's was fantastic. Loved the 7-step little solution he gave there. There's a lot more expansion that needs to happen. We're going to admit to that or agree to that or put that caveat on it. But in general, that's a lot of what we need to do, isn't it? Right? Those 7 steps we talked about yesterday. So I'm excited to see where today's brings us. And here we go. This is September 10th's reading by James Allen's Daily Meditations. By submitting to a bad habit, one forfeits the right to rule over himself. Love it. He who thus avoids self-discipline and looks about for some occult secrets for gaining willpower at the expenditure of little or no effort on his part is deluding himself and is weakening the willpower which he already possesses. Wow. The strength of will, which is gained by success in overcoming bad habits, enables one to initiate good habits. For, while conquering of a bad habit requires merely strength of purpose, the forming of a new one necessitates the intelligent direction of purpose. To do this, a man must be mentally active and energetic, and must keep a constant watch upon himself. Thoroughness is a step in the development of the will, which cannot be passed over. Slipshod work is an indication of weakness. Let me tell you, that one hits home for me. That one resonates very deeply with me, because I have been that person. I have been for a long time. That was the only person I was the one that submitted to a bad habit over and over and over again. And I was just looking for some quick solution all the time. I wanted something external to myself to change me so I didn't have to do the work myself. I didn't have to exert my willpower towards the right purpose. I just wanted it to be done. I wanted it to go away. I didn't want to actually put the work in. Didn't get me anywhere. So I think that this reading is incredible, actually. I think this reading is relevant for many, many people in today's society and in what goes on. So let's go through it again. It opens up here with, by submitting to a bad habit, one forfeits the right to rule over himself. Because you can't trust yourself, right? Our behavior shows our ability to be trusted. So if we constantly indulge in drugs and alcohol, if we constantly indulge in selfishness and self-centeredness, if we constantly indulge in anger and frustration and violence, if we constantly indulge in self-pity and depression and sadness, we can't be trusted. We need help. We need someone else to tell us what to be doing. I'm sorry, but that's just the reality. By submitting to a bad habit, one forfeits the right to rule over himself. You do. This is what probation is around for. This is what um, addiction treatment programs are around for. This is what all types of court systems and institutions, mental institutions, this is why they exist. That line, by submitting to a bad habit, one forfeits the right to rule over himself because you can't be trusted. Some are more severe than others. I do understand that, of course. But the reality is, you're not consistent. You can't stick by your own word. You can't honor your own commitments. I mean, we are all human. I get that too. We have bad days. But having bad days doesn't justify bad behavior as much as we'd like it to. It doesn't. By submitting to a bad habit, one forfeits the right to rule over himself. Remember this. If you can't control yourself, someone will control you for you. It goes in a lot of ways. They'll distract you. They'll fill your mind with messages and direct and advertisements and anything. Like if you can't control yourself, you're asking to be controlled. And I know that isn't the most pleasant of things to say, and it might sound conspiracy theorist, but it is the truth. It's a painful truth that we need to recognize and honor in the sense of knowing it's there, in the sense of acknowledging it. All right, now the main reading here, main body of it. He who thus avoids self discipline and looks about for some occult secrets, in quotes, for gaining willpower at the expenditure of little or no effort on his part, is deluding himself and is weakening the willpower which he already possesses. We're taking away from our belief in our own power by saying we can't do it. We need something else to do it for us. We're obviously missing information. We're obviously um, looking in all the wrong places. And we're just going to keep living this way until, life shows us what we need, which that's how I used to live. That's the description of me. I was waiting for life to change or show me what needed to happen so I could actually be the person I wanted to be, or I could change the behaviors I wanted to change. I was avoiding certain ways of living in my life. I was avoiding certain characteristics that I didn't want to acknowledge, that I didn't want to be a part of. I just didn't. I didn't want to be involved in it. I like how he says this here. I was looking for someone to give me more willpower because I didn't believe in the willpower I already had. I was deluding myself. And the thing is, I was weakening my willpower too because I wasn't fully committing to the things I was trying to change. I thought I was doing my best. And in some perspectives, I was. I was doing as best as I could with the mentality I had. But I had to have a shift in perspective and mentality. And I found this well of strength and power that I didn't know was possible. And some would say that comes from connecting to a God of your understanding, becoming of service to something greater than yourself. You find this willpower that you didn't know you had. It's just able to be picked up and walked with. And it's so powerful. We rob ourselves of the blessings that willpower and discipline would bring us. For what? A quick pleasure? And I'm not talking even severe things. I'm talking those who want to get cut down on sugar. Hey, it tastes sweeter, so we want to do that, but it's contributing to our bad health. It's a problem I have just for full disclosure there. That's why it's on the front of my mind. I'm thinking about this application to myself and how I'm really, on that one at least, um, kind of falling down. I don't believe I've fully dedicated myself to getting over that, which means I'm still enjoying it, which isn't the best thing to come to realize, but it's the right thing to come to realize in this. But there's a lot of us that erode our willpower in every decision we make, and it takes a lot of effort and courage to start practicing and using our willpower and our self-discipline. But when we start, it becomes an amazing blessing and an amazing freedom that we didn't know was possible. He goes on here for the second paragraph and says, the strength of will, which is gained by success in overcoming bad habits, enables one to initiate good habits. For while the conquering of a bad habit requires merely strength of purpose, the forming of a new one necessitates the intelligent direction of purpose, right? And I'm thinking about this in the 12-step philosophy, and there's just so many that can put the stuff down for a little bit, right? They can stop drinking, but they always pick it back up because they haven't changed any of their bad habits. That's the only one they've changed, and they haven't done anything else to replace it. They're literally just putting the drink down and running around behaving the exact same way that made their life so unmanageable they had to pick it back up, whether it's a drink or a drug. They're not replacing it with recovery. They're not replacing it with sobriety. So when it talks about forming new one necessitates the intelligent direction of purpose, we want the purpose to live a life of service to God and others, right? The purpose to live a life of recovery and emotional sobriety. The purpose to walk in strength and virtue. The intelligent direction of purpose. That's what we have to find, and what we have to form these new habits under. When we do, we find it so easy to keep the bad habits from springing back in. We find it so easy to allow ourselves to grow and develop and change and fully embody the person that we are always meant to be. He finished this main reading of this with this sentence: to do this, a man must be mentally active and energetic and must keep a constant watch upon himself. I'm going to equate this to 12-step groups again because there's the maintenance step, as they call them. I call them the progress steps, but we're talking about 10, 11, and 12 here in the step work because that's where the constant watching of ourself comes in that 10th step and the constant connection with a God of your understanding. Now that's prayer, that's meditation, that's inventory. Those are not, um, those are not practices that are only found in the 12-step community, obviously, but that's what we're talking about here. And then the 12th step is about being of service and practicing the principles in all of our affairs. So we bring these spiritual practices everywhere into all of our relationships, whether it be with money, our job, our employer, our friends, coworkers, romantic relationships, family, relationship we have with power and money and prestige, or a relationship we have with self-pity. It plays everywhere. But we have to be mentally active and energetic and keep a constant watch upon himself. So we have to practice these positive mental changes, and we have to practice this constant watching of ourselves. We have to be vigilant. That's the word I was looking for. And now he ends it with this: thoroughness is a step in the development of will, which cannot be passed over. So, thoroughness, you can't just stop this one bad habit and think that's good enough. Everything's got to change. Practice these principles in all our affairs. Thoroughness is a step in development of will which cannot be passed over. We need to continue to grow and weed out this ignorance that we've put into our life. This weed out these selfishness, selfish and self-centered behaviors and perspectives that we've taken for so long. Slipshod work is an indication of weakness. You can see it in people. You can see it in those who are still enjoying their character defects regularly. It's pretty impressive. So, all right. Well, that was just right in the heart with that one. My soul needed to hear that. That's for sure. And I'm very grateful for that reading today. So, thank you all for so much for jumping on with me today. Again, I apologize for yesterday for the episode not posting. Not sure what happened there, but I'm looking forward to seeing um, what everyone thinks about this one. Just a great reading and got a lot of power in it. So I hope you all felt the same. And I'll be back again next tomorrow. So until next time, thanks.